Right now at noon, it's primary election day in Wisconsin. We'll tell you what you need to know as you head to the polls. Plus, dozens are dead in Italy after a bridge collapsed during a storm. And British officials have arrested a terror suspect after he drove into pedestrians near Parliament early this morning.
This is News 3 at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 on this Tuesday, Election Day. We'll get to those stories in a bit, but first, let's head over to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Chris Reese has a look at your first alert forecast. Boy, the humidity continues out there.
It really does, and today is another one of those warm, humid, and hazy days. We've had several of those over the past weekend and for the start of your week, but this is one of the last. Some changes are on the way. Here's a live look downtown right now showing you the haze, and oddly enough, things are rather nice, but the haze kind of makes things look mostly cloudy out there. Temperatures are into the lower 80s rather, dew points into the mid and upper 60s. There are some upper 80s that do show up across parts of Wisconsin. Black River Falls at 87 as of now. Those dew points are up and at them once again into the upper 60s and low 70s for a lot of folks. So once again, we are dealing with the air that you can wear out there. We'll keep the sunshine around through the afternoon. Clouds beginning to thicken up overnight and especially into tomorrow. That is the weather change that is on its way, and it's at least going to shake things up for a couple of days before we head into the weekend. I'll have the full details timing out some rain chances around here coming up in Maine weather, Mark.
All right, we'll see you then. Thank you, Chris. The polls are open for today's primary election. Wisconsin has closed primaries, which mean you can only vote for one party. Some of the bigger races included choosing who will run against Governor Scott Walker in November. On the Democratic side, there are 8 candidates in that race. And Sun Prairie native Robert Meyer is running against Walker as a Republican. Voters will also decide who should run on the Republican side of the U.S. Senate race against Democrat Tammy Baldwin. There are also 2 Democratic candidates looking to take on Lieutenant Governor Rebecca Clayfish this fall. Many candidates hit the polls this morning to cast their votes in today's primary. Democratic candidate for Governor Kelda Roys, Malin Mitchell, and Tony Evers cast their ballots. Democratic candidate for the 1st Congressional District, Kathy Myers, is voting in Janesville. And House Speaker Paul Ryan made an appearance in his hometown of Janesville to vote. Polls close at 8 o'clock tonight. If you are not registered to vote, you can still do so today. You'll need a valid photo ID and proof of residence to do that. That could be a lease, a pay stub, utility bill, or another official document that shows your current address. If you need more detailed information on acceptable forms of ID, who's running on your ballot, and where to go to vote today, you can visit myvotewi.gov. Just a reminder, the polls close at 8 o'clock tonight, and we will have team coverage of all the races in our later newscasts. Fired White House aide Omarosa Manigault Newman says a new recording obtained by CBS News supports her claim that the Trump campaign was worried about the existence of a possible tape of Mr. Trump using the N-word. In her new book, Unhinged, Omarosa claims the Trump campaign was aware of the existence of the tape. In a recording from October 2016, Omarosa discussed the alleged existence of the tape with Lynn Patton, an assistant to Eric Trump, and former spokeswoman Katrina Pearson.
I said, well, sir, can you think of any time that this might have happened? And he said no.
Well, that's not true.
He goes, how do you think I should handle it? And I told him exactly what you just said, Omarosa, which is, well, it depends on what scenario you're talking about. And he said, well, why don't you just go ahead and put it to bed? I don't know what the scandal is. No, he said it. He's embarrassed.
Well, now President Trump's campaign is filing an arbitration action against Omarosa, that is, alleging that a breach of security agreement. Italian officials say at least 35 people are dead now after a bridge collapsed in Genoa. That's along the country's northwest coast. A massive span of the bridge gave way during a storm, sending cars and trucks plummeting into an industrial area below. Italian officials estimate at least 30 cars and trucks were driving across the 260-foot span when the bridge gave way, plunging them 150 feet down onto a road, a canal, railroad tracks, and 2 warehouses below. The highway is a major connector between Italy and France. The Italian company that runs the bridge says work was underway to reinforce the bridge's foundations. Ecuadorian officials say at least 23 people died, another 14 were injured when a long-distance bus overturned on a highway near Ecuador's capital. The Colombia-registered bus hit another vehicle in an area known as Dead Man's Curve. Officials say Colombian and Venezuelan nationals are among the dead. British police arrested a terror suspect this morning after he drove into pedestrians before crashing his car into a security barrier outside the Houses of Parliament. Officials arrested a man in his 20s accused of targeting commuters during the morning rush hour. Several people suffered non-life-threatening injuries.
Given that this appears to be a deliberate act, the method, and this being an iconic site, we are treating it as a terrorist incident.
The suspect in this attack is being held on suspicion of terror offenses. Authorities say he acted alone and is not cooperating with investigators. There's more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If you love foods that are stuffed, join us as we share a dish that'll leave you stuffed and satisfied. I promise it will. Climbing I don't know about you, but personally, I love anything that's stuffed. When I go out, there's a pretty good chance that I'll order the stuffed pork chop or chicken breast. And in a bakery, you can bet that I'll always go for a stuffed cupcake or a turnover bursting with apples. So today, I want to share another stuffed favorite that I know you're going to love. We begin by mixing some ricotta cheese with shredded mozzarella, a bit of grated Parmesan, and a few seasonings. Now, we dollop this onto the center of 6 chicken breasts that we flattened and sprinkled with salt and pepper. Then, we sort of roll them up. You want to make sure the chicken surrounds the filling so that it doesn't ooze out while it bakes. We'll sprinkle the tops of these with some panko breadcrumbs that we mix with a bit of paprika. Then, into the oven they go. What we end up with is a bundle of slow-roasted chicken that's brimming with a rich and cheesy Italian filling. Serve it up with some pasta and sauce for the ultimate feast. To get the recipe for our stuffed chicken muffins, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an Italian stuffed way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Thank you, Howard. Still to come on News 3 at noon, why small business owners are feeling optimistic, plus meteorologist Chris Reese will have your first alert forecast. That's when we come back. Well, nations agree the world is off track, while small business owners are feeling optimistic. Diane King Hall has more in today's Money Watch report.
A new global survey says the world is on the wrong track. Ipsos polled developed and developing nations and found 56% of adults believe their country is off course. Among Americans, 59% say the U.S. is on the wrong track. In Britain, that number is higher at 67%. People in Brazil, Peru, South Africa, and Hungary felt the most concern. The chief worry around the world is unemployment. Wall Street kicked off today's session higher thanks to a batch of stronger than expected quarterly earnings reports, along with some stability in Turkey's currency, the lira. Home Depot rallied back early this summer after a rocky spring selling season. The nation's biggest home improvement chain says it earned $3.5 billion during the second quarter. That was better than expected. Shoppers didn't just buy more stuff, they also spent more money as they caught up on delayed home improvement projects. And the mood of small business owners climbs to the second highest level in history. The National Federation of Independent Business measured optimism at 107.9 in July. Owners reported strong sales and profits and plan to boost employment. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Diane King Hall.
Thank you, Diane. At the noon hour, the stock exchange is up. The Dow Industrial is up 117 points. The NASDAQ up 57. Let's check in now with Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee on this Tuesday. How are you?
Well, it's warm out there. You tell Chris, my crops are getting a little thirsty. That's what they say anyhow, as far as the latest crop progress report is concerned. There were some areas of southern Wisconsin that picked up rain, but boy, you get any farther north on from Dane County, and it is dry, so the crops are thirsty. The good news is that they're still progressing very, very well. The latest update from Wisconsin farmers, 78% of our corn crop is called good to excellent. That's about 5 days ahead of where we normally be at this time. 76% of our soybeans are good to excellent, again, about 5 days ahead on maturity. 13% of our Wisconsin potatoes are already harvested, and 50% of our oats are already off. So we're doing well with the dry weather, trying to get those potatoes and oats harvested. But like I said, everybody across the state talking about how dry the crops are. That's part of the reason why the corn and soybean prices are up on the midday in Chicago. We weren't the only ones that are paying attention to the rain patterns. Overall, corn and soybean quality came down just a little bit. Now, the market expected that after watching the weather. But again, it's a story we got to kind of keep an eye on because it can knock yield off in the month of August. We're kind of starting to finish that crop off right now. On a side note, want to make sure I congratulate some of the folks that are big influences in FFA and ag education. Paul Larson, ag teacher from Freedom, Glenn Sims from Mukwonago are going to get VIP citations at the National FFA Convention in Indianapolis in October. And the Culver's franchising restaurants will be given Distinguished Service Award for their Thank a Farmer campaign and all their help with FFA. Only 3 companies getting that honor this year. Good day on barrel and block cheese. Barrel cheese up 2 1/4, 167. 40-pound block cheese, well, that did slip a half, 165 1/2. But the butter stock's back on a roll, up 238 3/4. Get that? Butter back on a roll. Get that?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Well, I just want a little humor to try to get you towards that weather forecast that Chris has got.
Yes, that was very good. Thank you. We'll see you later, Pam.
Okay.
Chris, we're all looking for some rain, especially north of here.
That's right. We are looking for some rain. It's been abnormally dry up there. One of the problems when it's that dry, though, a lot of the plants don't have enough moisture to help with thunderstorm development, so they end up perpetuating their own drought. But hopefully we can get some rain in the area. We are tracking a rain chance. But first, let's talk about just how warm things have been. These were the high temperatures from yesterday. Here's one of the things you will notice when things are more moist somewhere versus dry elsewhere. Temperatures were cooler across the southern half of Wisconsin yesterday, only making it into really the upper 80s, and that's where things were much more humid as well. But across the northern half of the state, that's where temperatures were closer to 90, and we did see some 90s. Air that's drier is able to heat up much faster, and that's kind of the same situation that we're seeing. But some rain chances, again, are on the way. Let's talk temperatures right now. 82 degrees. We do have sunshine out there, but there's a lot of haze as well, keeping things a little bit cloudy looking. Dew points are into the 60s, so it is very humid. We see those temperatures a little bit cooler in the southern half of the state versus upper 80s and closer to 90 as you work your way a bit towards the North Woods. But check out Brainerd, 69 degrees, 73 in Superior. That is the change that is on the way, and they are 14 to 17 degrees cooler than they were just 24 hours ago. There have been some showers up that way as well. No showers for us in the meantime, but we have really been tracking that increase in cloud cover as we've gone through the past couple of hours. We're really going to watch the clouds increase as we go through the rest of the afternoon, and let's go ahead and get you through how things are going to play out. First and foremost, that cold front on the way. We do have high pressure to our east that's keeping winds coming out of the south. That's part of why we have been so warm and so humid. We see those dew points well into the 70s around the edge of that high, snaking their way essentially into south central Wisconsin. So if you stepped out, you needed that extra deodorant with how humid things have been. We're going to keep that going on through today and part of your Wednesday as well. Eventually, though, this cold front begins to work its way to the south and east. At the same time, this region of low pressure moving to the north and east, throwing moisture northward. The state of Illinois really getting in on some rain. We will get in on some rainfall as well. Eventually, that cold front sweeps on through. High pressure coming into the picture. The problem is these rain chances are really going to target the southern half of the state more than the northern half of the state, which is where they really need more of that rain. But we'll see those rain chances in here tomorrow and again as we get you into Thursday afternoon, and that has the chance to produce some widespread rain chances again as well. We'll keep that chance in. 87 degrees though this afternoon, and we are not expecting any rain, but it will be very warm. The better rain chance comes in later tonight, and then on Wednesday rather, getting my days mixed up there, but Wednesday into Thursday does have some pretty decent rain chances. We'll dry things out once we get through Friday. The weekend looks fantastic. Another rain chance on Monday, and at the very moment, it looks like a pretty decent rain chance. It gives us hope, but it's far out, so we don't want to get too sold on that. But it's just going to be hard in this pattern that we're in to truly get a soaking rain chance.
And this haze is from the fires out west.
This haze is from the fires out west. Now, with that cold front coming in tomorrow, that should sweep out some of the haze, but we'll keep a close look on it. But we're not the only ones. As far south as Kentucky, Tennessee, South Carolina, even in Texas, they've seen some of the haze.
It's just how big those fires are.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, hopefully some rain on the way. Thank you, Chris. There is more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, Dr. Jim Orvik from the Oregon Vet Clinic is here to answer your pet questions. 270-9933 is the number to call. We'll get to your questions right after this. Dr. Jim Orvik from the Oregon Vet Clinic is here to answer your pet questions. The number to call, 270-9933. We are still in the thick of the tick and mosquito season. And
mosquitoes are especially bad.
And I use the Advantage on my dogs.
Yep.
The stuff you put on their backs, little tubes. But is there something else you can use that isn't quite, get off of your hands? And
Well, there are oral medications, which would be more tidy. You don't have to mess with all of that stuff. And then there are the powders and sprays and the collars, but they're on the outside too. But an oral medicine, I would always go for the oral when I was in practice.
Do you need a prescription, or is it just over the counter like the other stuff?
Almost everything you can get it over the, through the mail orders. You may have to have a prescription for some things like heartworm prevention if you order it through the mail.
Right.
but not for everything.
All right. Let's get to the calls. We'll start with Janet in Reedsville. Hi, Janet.
Hi. I have a question for the doctor. I'm wondering why I'm not just supposed to feed my dog. My dog kibbles and bits because of the dye in it. Our vet that we have in town here said it's not good for them because she licks her paws a lot.
Okay.
Well, yes, when it comes to dog foods, one dog food is great in one dog and another dog is good in, or food is good in another dog. And thing about licking the paws on a certain diet, there's an allergy to something in there. It could be the dye or just about anything in there. So yeah, if it makes it lick its paws, feed something else.
Food allergies are just so prevalent these days.
Very common and sometimes hard to diagnose, but switching around, sometimes you can.
But be careful switching food. You got to do it gradually.
Well, yes, on some dogs especially.
Well,
yeah.
all right.
You know.
Yes. Mary in Reedsburg. Hi, Mary. What's your question?
Thank you for taking my
You're
call.
welcome.
I just got a kitten, and it started to sneeze and cough, and somebody told me that was bad.
Very common in new kittens. I don't know where the kitten came from, but respiratory diseases in cats are as common as colds in humans. Most of the time, with a little time, if you've got it in your house now, it'll get over it on its own. But some cats continue with snotty nose and coughing and need some medical treatment then, for sure.
So keep an eye on it if it continues.
Yes, and the vaccines help some with those respiratory diseases too.
All right, Bonnie in Wisconsin Dells. Hi, Bonnie. What's your question?
Yes, I have a 14-year-old cat. He's inside, never goes out. He has been tearing hair out from his back. I've had him to the vet 3 times. They have used an activator on him, but he's continuing. I'm finding little piles of hair. And we did blood work a few months ago. Everything was fine.
Pulling it in one area and becoming bald in that area?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's not bald, but it's back
thin.
above the hips.
Yeah. This a male cat?
Yes, it's a male neutered 14-year-old.
Yeah. Interesting.
I'm going to put you on hold because we're out of time.
Okay.
So doctor will talk to you off the air. So stay on the line.
Hold on, I'll be right there.
All right, we'll see you next time. Chris has one final check of the forecast.
All right, we're going to have another fantastic day, though it will be warm. Temperatures topping out into the upper 80s, heat into season 2, the low 90s.
All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 4. In the meantime, have a great afternoon.